Welcome to Rain Fresh Harvest. My name is Barry Adler. I'm growing on approximately a little less than an acre total. This up front here is only maybe a quarter acre total with the greenhouses. I've got about another half acre to 3/4 acres back the other side of the house. I've got some fruit trees. I've got field tomato crops out there, jalapenos, basil. Down here out in the field I've got a few tomatoes, basil, blackberries, a variety of peppers, some cucumbers, and in the greenhouses here I've got mizuna, arugula, cucumbers, spearmint, and I've got a variety of fish aquaponics operations in there too. Yellow perch, bluegills, koi. I originally looked at setting up a hydroponic organic tomato and lettuce operation. Crop King has had at the time some of the first greenhouses with that design. But as I did my due diligence, I found out my water was so terrible I would have to treat the water or run 35% of the water and leach every time I watered the plants. So I decided that wasn't going to work, because when I looked at the cost of reverse osmosis, it was going to cost me 2 cents more per pound for the tomatoes than I was going to be able to sell them for. Due to the water issues, I decided I had to design my own greenhouse, and I had been working at Scott's as a researcher for 22 years, and I had my job was outsourced, so I had some severance money to look into a new business. And at the time I was interested in renewable energy, but back in 2004 there was absolutely no market for it. So my background's in horticulture. I've got a master's degree in horticulture. I decided, well, I've got this land, I might as well grow things and do that as my business. So I started in and decided, well, I've got to design my own greenhouse to catch the water. And I thought, well, I can put renewable energy on it also, because at that time was the first year that the grants were available through the state of Ohio. So I combined both of my interests and designed this, and took about a year and a half of figuring out all the ins and outs and looking at designs that seemed to work, and also different types of aquaponics that seemed to work, and I kind of designed and took off from there and designed my own system. This is an off-the-grid bio-integrated greenhouse, and it's powered by the sun and the wind. We have a 1 kilowatt Berge XL wind turbine, 2.1 kilowatts photovoltaics. There's 12 Siemens. They were originally 175 watts each, but one of them had to be replaced because I got a bullet hole in one of them about 3 years ago. And that's a 190 watt panel because they didn't make them 175 watts 10 years later. So in fact, those same size panels now, you can get almost about 400 watts in the same square footage. These are solar thermal collectors. I have a water drain back system. I originally started with a propylene glycol system, but it ended up, because of the way it was designed, it was letting air in the lines and the copper was starting to degrade. So another guy came along who had more experience in this area, and he said, no, get the propylene glycol out of there and just use straight water, and it's worked fine ever since. So at 34 degrees, everything drains back into the building so the pipes don't freeze in the wintertime. And this is hooked into a heat exchanger, and I'll show you when we get in there, that pumps the hot water, or takes the heat out of the water, puts it in a storage tank, or when that storage tank reaches a certain temperature, then I have PEX tubing and a concrete floor, so the floor itself acts as a thermal storage. I've got 2 tanks that I catch water in. One's underground cistern, one's on the second floor. Each of them has a capacity to catch 500 gallons, so I catch about 1,000 gallons of water. All it takes is about a ½ inch of rain, and that fills up that 500-gallon tank. If there's no wind or no sun, I've got battery backup storage that'll hold about 3 to 4 days running everything, but then when I know I'm not going to have sun or wind, I start shutting down things. I got about 40 different circuits in there. I can flip everything off and only run the essential systems, the bubblers for the fish, and irrigation and fans inside the greenhouse. So I can stretch it out to 5-6 days if I need to.